When did you first have like your first break, or like where someone saw you, or you met a friend, or you're in a comedy club with someone and they, like there's always that one thing.
Yeah.
Where like that's when you started really making it.
Yeah. It's I always say that my biggest break was when I met Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came into the clubs after his show was done, and there was this 2-night period where I was on stage when he came to check. He came back and he was just checking out the scene before he went up again.
Yeah.
He was just checking out the club and seeing what it was all about. And I was on stage 2 nights in a row. I saw him walk in while I was on stage. You could see through the window at Stand Up New York in the Upper West Side. And I saw him come in. And like the second night, I was like, I threw new stuff to show him that I had other stuff.
Yeah.
And I came off, and he was like, "You're really funny." I was like, "Ha ha ha ha." And we just started a conversation at the bar, and I grabbed onto his coattails and didn't let go. And when he was so huge at that moment, and him giving me his endorsement just made everybody else, oh yeah, let's take another look at Tom.
Yeah.
Because at the time I was like trying to break into late night. I had some little stuff, but I was like hadn't really broken through. And the validation I got from other people from his endorsement, and also then he took me on tour with him. I just soaked it in like a sponge. He worked the way that I worked. He wasn't a comedian that was just getting high and drinking. I wrote all the time. I was really dedicated to like this craft of it. But it wasn't until I met him that it validated that my way of working was a way to work.
Yeah.
So I learned how to carry yourself as a comedian, as a man, I just got so much from him that was really the biggest break.
What makes Seinfeld so special? What are some of the things that he may have taught you as a lesson, or some of the things you just picked up, like, because you said you prepare like him.
Yeah.
Like, what are me being around Tom Brady?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I learned on how to take care, like, without him saying shit. Just,
right.
If you're fortunate enough to be around someone who's succeeding in your field, you could just pick things up. And I would take like how he would take care of his body, compartmentalizing like life and profession. Like, there are little things what were some things you learned from Seinfeld? What made him special?
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, they're not trying to teach you. Yeah. But if you want to learn, you just hang around these guys and you really start picking it all up. Like,
if they allow you to hang around, they're teaching you. That's kind of how it is.
Yeah, good point.
That's what that's how I.
Yeah.
When like a stud.
Yeah.
Because I always hung around the studs of the team. Or other players when there's like training areas in the off season. Yeah. And I'd see where Larry Fitzgerald was. I wanted to be around him. I want to see what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Larry Fitzgerald, I have a funny quick story.
Yeah, what do you got?
I got to play in the All-Star game for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
They do the celebrity and old timers, I guess.
Yeah.
So I got to play on the softball team, and I had this TV show at the time, and I got to do it, and we played in Arizona. And I'm in the outfield, and I'm freaking out. I don't really play baseball, but I'm in my little uniform that Bernie Williams' locker was next to mine, and I'm all like freaked out. And Fitzgerald gets up and smacks one right to me, and I come running in, and I catch it, and I'm like so excited, and the whole place boos me because it's his hometown. I'm like, yes, boo.
Seeing that ball come off a bat when you haven't seen it in a while and having to judge it, little thing, you're probably I got it.
I did it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's a great way to put it, though, if they let you hang around. It really is. So I learned, the biggest thing was that I learned that comedy is this, you're funny, and it's so it's kind of like this wild bull. It's like, what is this thing? Like, you just kind of like get up, and people do it in a lot of different ways. And the thing I learned from him was that, no, this is a craft and you can get better at it, but you got to work your ass off to get better at it. And you got to really dedicate the time and put it in and write all the time and get up on stage all the time and go back to work. And we're not here to hang out and chase girls and get drunk. We're here to get good. So this is all about writing, dedicating yourself to this craft, and that if you take care of that craft, it's going to take care of you. And that was the biggest lesson.
Tom, we love great locker room stories. So we were wondering, do you have any great green room stories from touring with Seinfeld back in the heyday?
Yeah. This was a little later, and he was back playing the Beacon, and he's going to play the Beacon. I'm going to open for him, and then we're going to like Columbus, Ohio or something the next day. And the Beacon has very small, tight, it's an old building, tight dressing rooms. You got to take this little elevator up to each floor. I'm there early, and I'm in the little green room, and I'm waiting for Jerry. And I figure out, well, it's been a while, and I haven't seen him in a bit, so I'm just gonna not a big thing, but just play a little joke that I fell asleep. He's so late that I fell asleep. So I like loosen my tie and undo my belt, and I'm just kicked back on this couch. I hear the elevator coming up, and I'm just like, kind of like look like I'm drooling on myself. And the elevator opens up, and I hear Jerry go, "Oh." And I open my eyes. It's Jerry Seinfeld, Steve Martin, and Tom Hanks. I'm like my coach with Parcells.
Need a ride?
Right? I'm like, oh, hey, I'm just doing a bit. I'm just being funny. And they're like, hey, nice to meet you.
Oh, my God.
You guys need a ride home?
Oh, my God.
Anyone? I'm going downtown. Anybody want to share a cab?
Oh, my gosh.
It was pretty humiliating. I mean, Steve
I get the guy a job, and then he come in and he's sleeping.
What's the deal with Ben?